Yes, everyone, welcome to Full Time Devils. My name is Stephen Howson. Today I am joined by Jonas and James on Skype and by Adam Mckola over here in the studio. What's happening, everybody?
What's going on?
All right.
Not much.
All right.
Lads looking serious there, isn't it? It's a very serious day. We are getting close to the season.
Pre-season is serious business. And we are looking at a preview for the Kristiansund game over there in that Norway. And that's why we've got Jonas on to give us a little bit of inside info of what is going on about that. And is it going to be a real big game, or is it going to be... It's Ollie's homecoming, isn't it? Now, is this Ollie doing favours for all the boys back at home? Because it feels a little bit like that.
It does feel that way.
A little bit like that.
It does feel that way. I'm surprised we didn't have Molde in pre-season this time around. But I know they're deep into their season, aren't they? Or at least well into it. Ooh.
That is a very good point. Anyway, so lads on Skype, what do you reckon? Is this still about fitness? Is this about anything other than just a bit of a run out and a bit of a homecoming from Ollie? Jonas, what do you reckon?
No, it's more of a homecoming, to be quite honest. He is from the city, and he's helped the club as much as he can. He hasn't managed them, but he has always been sort of attached to them a little bit, even though he even hasn't played for him. But his best friend is the manager of the club as well. So, I mean, it makes a lot of sense. And I believe also he's played, or has a deep connection anyways, with the director of the club at Kristiansund. And, I mean, it's a joyous occasion. It's a small town. I've been there twice, I believe. It's not really big at all, so I mean they're probably going to bring their entire town to Oslo and try to fill up the national arena. So it's sort of a coming out day for the club, and it also shows how much they've grown. They haven't been in the top tier when I've been alive. So I mean it's sort of it shows how far they've come, and that they're playing Man United at the national arena is just fantastic for them.
James, are we expecting to see a competitive match out of this, or do you think it's going to be much more of the same of what we saw against the likes of Perth and Leeds?
I think it would be quite a boring game, to be honest. I mean, I would have preferred it if we'd have played them at the start of the tour and then played more competitive sides like Inter Milan and Spurs later on. I don't really see this doing much favours to anyone really, apart from the people in Norway. I think it'll probably be a 2-0 win to United or something, and I think in 3 years' time, precisely, no one will be looking up on YouTube for highlights of this, apart from the people that have gone to it. I think it won't be a very good match, to be honest with you.
All right, awesome.
Sounds like fun. Should we just call it a day?
So make sure to tune in.
Should work for MUTV sales department.
Yeah, definitely. do you think everyone's going to take this serious? I think there's still people
we
that
have to take it seriously. We have to take it seriously. We've got less than 2 weeks until we take on Chelsea in the Premier League, and just with that being said, you know, we've only got one more preparation game after this, so it does take on extra significance. You're probably hoping to see more of an 11 starting that we would expect to see against Chelsea.
65-minute thing.
Again, yeah, because we kind of seen that against Inter. And then against Spurs, I feel like Ollie changed it more against Spurs because he didn't want to give anything away against a Premier League opponent, and maybe use that as more of a fitness and for other players to catch up.
Are you suggesting that Ashley Young, Jones and Smalling and Wan-Bissaka's not going to be our back four next year?
I wouldn't be surprised if it wasn't the back four against Chelsea, just to send you over the edge. And then I think once United get rid of you, they might start replacing Ashley Young in the lineup.
Yeah, that feels like about the time.
But I do think we'll take it more seriously. I don't think we'll just write it off. Yes, it's great for the people at Kristiansund, and it's great for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and it's kind of it must be an emotional moment for him to go back to his hometown club, managing Manchester United. That's going to be great for him, but we have to also take it seriously in that it's 2 weeks left until the season, less than 2 weeks, and we've got to get clicking into gear.
Well, it's a training session, isn't it? That's what pre-season is. It's a training session with 30,000 people that come and watch, essentially. And that's how they should be treated, in my opinion. Right, speaking of training and all the rest of that sort of stuff, do you think we are starting to see Ollie Ball? Are we starting to see what he wants as a system? Because he's been very consistent with the formation. He's been very consistent with the style of play, although I think we expected a little bit more from both Leeds and Inter, because we ended up dominating the ball where we think we probably want to play a little bit more on the counter. Do you think that we're starting to see Ollie's style of play come to the fore?
Maybe not in formation, because I feel we're kind of forced into this formation with the amount of midfielders we've got available. You know, we're kind of forced into playing that many midfielders, 2 midfielders in there, 1 in the hole, 2 wide players and a striker. That's what we're being forced to do at the moment because of the players we have. Maybe if we had a few more signings, Ollie may be able to then play a different style of football. But in terms of the way we're playing, the intensity, the pressure that we're putting on teams, trying to regain the ball back quite early. It's not like that 6 seconds of fury stuff that Pep Guardiola has, but it's very similar to that in a sense that we're always, and I noticed it against Spurs, Inter Milan, winning the ball high up the pitch quite a lot, not letting them break out with the thing and with the ball. And when defenders are passing through the lines, a lot of the time we were intercepting it, whether that was Jesse Lingard or one of the other players in between the midfield, which I was impressed about, getting the ball back early. That's what United are about, getting the ball, hitting them on a counter attack, and hopefully, we start to see more improvements towards that.
Jonas, do you think there's a starting 11 starting to form in Solskjaer's mind?
Probably. We have to remember that he's a bit of a tinker man. He loves to rotate his teams. He's never really had one consistent team when he's managing Norway either. He sort of has one or two players who are always part of his team because they make his teams tick. But yeah, I assume, the 4-2-3-1 is sort of what he played towards the end in Norway. That's sort of what kind of ticked as well. But he loves to try new formations. I remember at the start of the 2017 season in Norway, he even played a 3-5-2. So he's not afraid to try different systems. But I think that he would like to sort of base himself around a three-man midfield in a 4-2-3-1 or a 4-3-3. So as long as he has the players who can sort of play both roles, I suppose a guy like Paul Pogba becomes vital to that because he can play a bit more defensive as well as offensive. That's why he's probably so keen on keeping him, even though a lot of fans and a lot of people say that it makes more sense to sell him considering he doesn't want to stay at the club. So he's definitely one of those players I can see becoming sort of a signal player as to if they're going to change to 4-2-3-1 or 4-3-3. So 4-2-3-1 in terms of controlling the ball, in terms of always having a stable two-man midfield to sort of dictate the ball is definitely what he's played previously. And if he's aiming to dominate the game more, which I think he's trying to do in larger terms this season, then this makes a lot of sense to play 4-2-3-1.
James, do you think there's three players that have stood out on the tour that you think have to start virtually every single game if they're fit for United? Is anyone that's really brought themselves forward?
Wan-Bissaka for the start. I mean, his tackles that he's putting in against Spurs and Leeds, he's been incredible, really. He's been a revelation, really, over these past few games. It's kind of what we've been needed for the past 3 or 4 years with, Young or Valencia on either side. They're just too old, and it was obvious for ages. So he's definitely got to start because we've got no one else better that can play there. And let's face it, Darmian, if he plays, I don't know what I'm going to do because I think if we've got Darmian still at the club because he's not played in like 3 months. He's just sort of like hanging around. There's a lot of them like that. Loads of like Deadwood players that are just sort of earning a paycheck and not really doing anything. So Wan-Bissaka has got to start. Otherwise, like it's just I don't know what I'll do. Right. Also, Pogba, if he's on his game. And that's the thing, what Jonas was saying, it's all good having Pogba in the team, right, but he's got to play 100%. We saw it towards the end of the season, Huddersfield, Cardiff, they're good examples of, if he's not going to care, then don't have him, that's it. Sell him, get someone else in, because there's no point in having him on the pitch if he's not going to track back, if he's not going to do anything. But on the other hand, he's our best player. So I think if we're going to build a team around him, he's got to say to Ollie that he's going to put 100% effort in. And I'd like to see actually a Rashford start as well against Chelsea, considering he completely tore them to pieces a couple of seasons ago. And I think if he's got the correct service, again, links back to Pogba, then he could score 15, 20 goals for us this season.
All right, it's starting 11 time. I'm going to start with you, Arkid. What do you want to see as a starting 11? Because clearly there's going to be 2 11s in this game. And I think Ollie holds a little bit something back for that B11, doesn't he? Just so they don't get completely overrun. But I want to know what you guys are really starting to think, and it's probably not going to happen like this, but let's just say it's time to pick your starting 11. Imagine this is Chelsea. What are you going with?
Okay.
Well, I want you to get in the mentality of this isn't just pre-season.
I want Ollie to pick a team that will start against Chelsea anyway.
Yeah. Okay, so go on.
De Gea in goal, obviously.
Yeah, he's not good at left back.
He's not. Probably tried it as well, although it's been a difficult one. Probably can't remember when we did. We had so many players in so many different positions. It's mental, isn't it? You think about it, Jesus. Right, Aaron Wan-Bissaka at right back, Luke Shaw at left back, Lindelof and Twanzebe. I would go with personally, of course, if we get a new signing, Maguire, I think could possibly start against Chelsea if he's in by then. But I'd go with Twanzebe. Eric Bailly's injured, and I think Twanzebe, on form and on ability, is better than Rojo, Smalling and Jones. So I would go with Twanzebe in there. Then in the midfield, McTominay has become my first choice alongside Paul Pogba, which is incredible because considering what I thought of him when he first broke through, he's made massive improvements to his own personal game, but also the midfield around him hasn't got any better. Herrera's left, Matic isn't getting any younger or any better, and Fred and Pereira has great pre-seasons all the time. Fred, obviously, we know the ability he has, but they haven't shown it. And for me, McTominay and Pogba would probably work out best. Then you're looking at three behind Anthony Martial of Rashford, which again, similar to the way we played against Inter, him and Martial will keep switching. Rashford, Lingard and Mata. Now, we prefer to see Mata through the middle and Lingard out wide, but it's usually the other way around. Again, with the ability to rotate. And that's the kind of team I think we'll see starting against Chelsea unless we make some key signings.
Not far off, I don't think. Jonas, what give us your 11, mate?
Actually, exactly the same as Adam's. Perhaps Matic ahead of McTominay just for more experience in midfield and someone who can sit a little bit more deeper and a bit more tactically equipped than McTominay if Pogba is going to roam forward in midfield. But other than that, I really can't make an argument for anyone else starting ahead of those 11. I mean, Tuanzebe in terms of talent is just fantastic to watch, I think. It might be that Solskjaer would like to use Smalling for his experience, but he's a guy who likes to take chances. I remember, again, going back to the 2017 season in Norway, when he played Molde, he played a debutant in his first in the first league game against Kristiansund. And it worked out well for him. He was the man of the match of that game. So, I mean, he likes to take chances and give youth a chance. So I wouldn't be surprised if it is Tuanzebe, actually, based on experience.
James, what give us your 11?
Yeah, it's pretty similar to the other two, but I think I'd swap. So I'd go De Gea in goal. I'd go. I wouldn't have Tuanzebe. I'd go for Rojo instead, just because I think.
Argentina.
Yeah, exactly. Going back to the days when Carlos Tevez was playing at Old Trafford and everything, until he left and it went sort of sour grapes and that. But yeah, so Rojo and Lindelof, two centre backs, Wan-Bissaka, Shaw on either side, and then I'm going to go. We're not having him. Right, he's gone. That's it now for him. Midfield, right, Pogba, McTominay, and I'm going to play Mata as like a number 10, and then three up front. I'm going to go Lingard on the right. I'm going to go Lingard on the left, Rashford on the right, and then Greenwood through the middle.
Interesting. I don't really like Jesse as a wide player. He's got to play as a number 10 if he's going to play. And I think he probably will play against Chelsea because I think they were expecting that they're probably going to want to try and hit the ball. I would put him on Jorginho because I think
he's one of the best with the press as well in the team that we've got.
He is. Is there no players that you guys think that might force their way in because of what they're doing in pre-season? Because for me, Angel Gomez, without the goal, and to be honest, I think he should have passed that rather than shot. But I think Angel Gomez has looked fantastic on this tour.
Don't listen to him, mate.
He's looked absolutely fantastic on this tour. And I wonder what the likes of Demi Mitchell, Fosu Mensah, I wonder if those are lads that we might see sort of start to break in, because I do look at left back and I go, we're not the strongest there. Luke Shaw, if we get a new defender, has just become the weakest point of our back four. And he was player of the year last year. So,
he wasn't.
Well, he's got the trophy on his mantelpiece. Right, give us your opposition thoughts. Do you know anything?
Hang on, do you want to start?
No.
Any changes to my team?
I would probably go with, don't have to put a graphic up for man. I'd like to see Dave in net. I'll go with Wan-Bissaka. He's not travelled, but I wouldn't have minded seeing somebody else like a Demi Mitchell in this because he's so offensive with the ball. I just want to see, can he do something different, because Luke Shaw's lacked a little bit in the final third for me. He's looked decent defensively, not really been tested, and he's definitely first choice, but this is pre-season, this is about trying things, and I would like to have tried that. I agree with Tuanzebe and Lindelof. They both lack a little bit of aerial presence, and I think that's why we're going with Slabhead, or we want to go with Slabhead, because he can offer that something different, and I would love to see him stick around. I hope he doesn't go on loan, because I think this is the time for him to really step up. I kind of agree with what you said on McTominay and Pogba as a two, and I think it probably will end up being a 4-2-3-1. I go with somebody like Mata in this instance in the 10, because I expect we're going to dominate the ball, and I go with Greenwood on the right. You go with Marshall on the left and Rashford down the middle. and all 3 of them I would like to see interchange and take a turn down at number 9.
Not bad.
And that's what I would roll with. I think you save Jesse for those bigger games where you're not going to dominate the ball, because that's where Jesse Lingard comes into his own. Anyway, opposition. Do you know anything about Kristiansund? Didn't think so. James, do you know anything about Kristiansund?
I didn't.
That you didn't just Google 30 seconds ago.
What's that?
That you didn't Google 30 seconds ago.
They're a decent bet
I'm
sometimes.
not going to pretend like I'm an expert on them, because Jay sent the preview over and told about a quick fact about them. I haven't heard of them until the tour was announced. All I know is where
Giving our secrets away about Jay's emails.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus Christ.
So Jonas, then fill us in a little bit on Kristiansund.
How much time do you have?
Not that long, because no one really cares, to be honest.
No, they're placed 7th in the Norwegian top flight, which is just mid-table. They're coming off a summer break right now. We have a summer break in Norway, which means I'm not quite sure what sort of fitness they're on. They're a well-organized, well-worked team. I mean, if you're looking for stars, there are no stars on this side. Their star is their team, and they have a fantastic manager in Kristian Mikkelsen, who's gotten them to gel fantastically. They keep overperforming and showing that they're better than perhaps their pieces individually. You'll probably notice Amidou Diop in midfield, a big towering midfielder who, it's easy to like him to Paul Pogba. It's way too easy if you ask me, but some would like to do so. He's very combative, good with the ball, will always be a presence in the air. So will Christophe Sique, who's their centre-back, who I believe is joint top scorer for them this season with 3 goals, which sort of explains perhaps that they're good at sharing the goals around the team.
I'm assuming that's set pieces. That he's not just like mooching through the whole team like Pro Evo style and banging it in.
I believe most of them are set pieces. I definitely do hope so for their sake. But I mean, their striker, the main striker, Flamur Kastrati, has 3 goals as well. So I mean, it's not like they have a lot of goals in their team right now. And Kastrati is a guy you also notice, and you'll probably be pretty pissed watching him, because it's very scrappy, very aggressive, loves to sort of try to fight his defenders and always getting into discussions and those sorts of things. And definitely playing in his hometown. Oslo is his hometown. He'll try to impress his friends in the stands, I believe. So you'll notice those 3, and you'll also notice their goalkeeper, Sean McDermott, who has been in the Irish. Very Norwegian name. I believe his father's Irish, his mother's Norwegian. He's been in the Ireland squad. He hasn't made his debut for him yet. It's a big discussion in Norway, or it was a big discussion in Norway, whether or not he should perhaps be given a chance for Norway, because it's been fantastic for Kristiansund for a while. It seems like he's going to choose Ireland, but he's very eccentric. He seems very small. You notice that you think he looks a little bit like Fabian Barthez in terms of how tall he is, but a fantastic goalkeeper in terms of reflexes, and you'll notice him. I'll say that much.
All right, Sam, Jonas, give us your score prediction then.
I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is going to honor that he's playing against his hometown and field his best 11. I think he's going to start with his best players, and I can see a 4-1 perhaps for Man United.
James, what are you going with?
Right, so these are the type of games that 67 years ago, Bambram Juve and Makeda turned into world beaters. I think probably it'll be like 2-0 or something. Rashford will score. And it'll be something ridiculous like Robbo will score a free kick from his own half or something stupid like that.
He tries every game, so it's coming. James, cheer up, man. Pre-season, we're going to win the league this year.
I'm
Jesus Christ.
Games like this, they're difficult to get excited about because, like, let's face it, who cares? But Chelsea, first game of the season.
It might be the last win you see all year.
Pre-season this year is way more positive than it is last year, right? Andy Mitten was saying last season when Mourinho was saying he wouldn't pay money to see our team, and now I think the players were bored, to be honest, going to the US, and now we're going to these places like China and Singapore. Everyone's like happy again, and I'm genuinely looking forward to the start of the season against Chelsea. I'm just saying, games like this, I don't personally see the point in playing them this close to the season. If we're going to do this right, play matches
in James. You're way too young to be so moody, man.
Jesus Christ, Adam, what's score prediction?
Come on, James. James, just say it's going to be 20-0 for me. Go on.
Score prediction.
Mason Greenwood hat-trick. Twanzabe's going to score 2.
Yeah.
Martial's going to come off the bench. Wait.
Oh, right, hang on.
Martial's going to come off the bench and get a hat-trick. And by the way, give him back his number 9 shirt.
I'm going to take a shoe off here.
8-0.
8-0, okay. I'm going to say 5-1.
Kristiansund.
No, I think we'll win.
I got a fun fact for you guys, by the way, before you.
Hang on. Fun facts are rarely fun facts, yeah.
Well, not fun fact, but at least something you should notice when you watch this game is that on the bench for Kristiansund, you'll notice a guy named Noah Solskjaer, which is the son of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer.
I did know
He's
that.
actually been taken into the squad.
Is he?
Oh, really?
He's like 19 or something now?
Is he the son of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer?
He's 19.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's 19. He's never played for the first team, but he's
like
in the squad. He's a
defensive
midfielder.
Yeah, he's definitely going to play, isn't he? He's definitely going to play, and Rojo's definitely going to 2-foot him because he's an absolute bell end.
Argentina! This is why we love Rojo.
Yeah.
Give him a new contract, and
He's going to go, hey, there's my son, and he'll be like, I know what you're saying. Watch this. And he's like,
shall we see how high I can kick him in the air, Ollie?
yeah, I'm going to hit him about thigh high. Anyway, thank you guys for joining us. We are doing a watch along tomorrow, so make sure to tune in for that one, and give all these guys a follow on Twitter, and we'll see you in the next one. Laters.